Welcome to Words from My Face. On tonight's show, we're talking a ton of NFL. I mean, just an obscene amount of NFL. I mean, it's like NFL from beginning to end, except for where we talk about baseball at the beginning, so maybe not beginning to end. But on tonight's show, we're talking about the defensive quarterback from the Cowboys going AWOL, how the Redskins kind of suck this year, and we're talking definitely about some Derek Jeter news because, yeah, this is his last season. And I don't know if that was 24 seconds. I lost count. I don't know. Brendan's not going to say anything. So, hey, welcome to the show.
You know what I should have done? Told you. There's probably a 24-second mark cue
On the song?
Yeah, you could be, you'll
Listening
get
for
the
that.
cue from the song.
Well, the song's only about 45 seconds long, so I figure halfway through the song is about 24 seconds, right? A little less, a little more, I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. We just have to listen to the song and see where it goes. But yeah, that's, we should have thought of that.
Yeah.
All right, well, we can start.
Well, we know about it for next time, so, yeah. All right, well, I'm going to start us off. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Words from My Face. My name is Brian. With me, as always, producer extraordinaire, Brendan.
Yo.
And we are the one and only home of the Chewbacca chainsaws. Chewbacca was a little muted. He was coming from halfway across the country when he heard that, and that just shows his lightning speed.
Yeah. Yeah, that chainsaw just approached quickly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that was like 1,500 miles in like half a second. So, what can you say? The Wookiee's got wheels. The Wookiee's got wheels. Well, no, he's got
Be
wheels.
afraid.
Well, yeah, everybody's already afraid of him. I mean, who's not afraid of a Wookiee with a chainsaw? But tonight is Friday, so I guess I can't say my normal tonight is Thursday. And I wish tonight was Thursday again so that I could know not to watch the game that I watched last night because it broke my heart. Broke my heart.
It was a little painful. I'll have to admit, a little bit painful.
Yeah, not fun for us to watch, but we are talking sports tonight. As you saw in the intro, it's going to be mostly NFL. But let's start it off with the Chewbacca Chainsaw of the Week award. And this week it goes to Derek Jeter, and that is because in his final home game in New York, after I believe 17 years of playing there at an all-star level, his career is finally coming to end. He is retiring this year, and he played his final game in New York, and he went out with style. The guy went out just the way he should have, with a walk-off hit in the ninth to beat the Orioles for the Yankees to win. So I just thought that was kind of special. I mean, this guy's made so many memories for so many people. As a Baltimore Orioles fan that I am, / Washington Nationals fan, I get behind the Nationals. But as a Baltimore fan, Yankees have always been a rival. But I've always respected Derek Jeter. And that's to say something. Because I don't like the teams that always win. And the Yankees are one of those teams that usually win. Maybe not the past couple of years. But if you look between 1900 and 2000, they won 25 championships, World Series. So, I mean, come on, they always win. That's one in every 4 years. They can take a break for a while.
Yeah, and Jeter's been on the team for several of those championships. Got
I think
MVP
he's
at least
won
once.
4 or 5. I think he's won 4 or 5, and that guy's just been the rock there. Shortstop is one of the most important defensive positions in baseball, if not the most important defensive position in baseball. And they've had a guy that they could count on to bring the highest caliber of play to that position, day in, day out. I mean, it's a grueling season. 162 games he plays at that position. So let's go ahead and give him his Chewbacca Chainsaw Award and maybe talk about him a little more. And
you
now,
saw that last hit. It was nice to get that run in and just win the game in the bottom of the ninth. I mean, that's just it's like movies. It's like movie storyline right there.
well, if it was a movie storyline, they'd be going to the playoffs, and he would have gotten that walk-off hit in Game 7 of the World Series. But, I guess
this is a more realistic movie.
Yeah, this is like Moneyball, where they didn't really win. And I still have problems with that movie because they didn't talk about how they had awesome pitching there the whole time. Yeah, all right, well, that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there.
I'm just saying, because of the way it ended, there's now a chance for a Derek Jeter movie. Just saying.
I think there was a chance for a Derek Jeter movie before that happened.
Now there's a bigger one, because now they have an ending.
They do have an ending. He walked off in his last home game. Now there is still 3 games to go for most teams, so we'll see it all wrap up this Sunday. But pretty much all of the playoff races are pretty much locked up. There's only one spot I think available, actually 2 spots technically in the AL. But let's run down who's already clinched and who's going and what position they're going to be in, which is not quite 100% sure, but it's pretty much locked up. We'll start off in the National League. Now the Nationals. In the National League, that's interesting. I wonder if they knew they were doing that when they did that.
I knew they were doing that.
Brendan knew. And Chewbacca.
Mastermind it all. I was like, we'll put Nationals in the National League.
But so the Nationals, they're looking like they're going to lock up the number 1 seed. Now, this is the second time they've done this in the National League in the past 2 years. Now, they did miss the playoffs last year, but we'll forget about that year. And this has been done behind great pitching. We've talked about them a whole bunch on this show. It's a great team. It's an all-around really, really good team. So look to them to do well, but still they have young inexperience. I'm curious to see who they're going to start Game 1. Now, I think if you're going to go with the pitcher that's pitched the best and most consistent over the year, you either start Doug Fister or you start Jordan Zimmerman. But if you want to pitch your pitcher with the most talent, you go with Steven Strasburg. And I think Matt Williams, the manager there, is going to hold Fister back until at least Game 3 because he's got more experience. He was with the Tigers last year and a couple of years ago when they made their championship runs. And that guy kind of he knows how to go to an opposing place's stadium and win. So I would imagine the roster is going to go Strasburg 1, Zimmerman 2, then we'll see Fister and probably Gio Gonzalez. So
that's the other question. I guess with that loss to the Yankees, I don't know if it affected anything, but what's the home field advantage looking like for the Orioles at this point?
Why don't we wait until we get to the AL?
We're talking about the Orioles now.
No, we're talking about the Nationals now.
Oh, the Nationals. Whatever. What the hell's the Nationals?
All right, let's just pretend that just didn't happen. The magic of editing will make that disappear before your very eyes.
So what are the Nationals looking like for their home field advantage?
Well, they're number 1, like I was saying.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes Brendan doesn't pay attention to me when I'm talking. I hope you folks out there in listener land do, because that would really suck if you don't. But sometimes my producer just kind of spaces out, and then comes back, and then spaces out, and then comes back, then spaces out again.
Look. There's always been. I remember when there was one team in this area, it was the Orioles, and then the Nationals had to screw it all up, and I'm like, oh, now there's 2 teams. I have to figure out what I'm talking about.
You darn Nationals! I almost said it too. There we go. But yeah, so it looks like number 2 in the National League is going to be the LA Dodgers. Now they have the best pitcher, maybe the best player in baseball right now with Clayton Kershaw. So we're going to see what they can do. Now their offense has been spotty. Puig seems to be on fire some months and not on fire other months, so it's going to be interesting. But they'll play probably the winner of the St. Louis-Pittsburgh. That division is still kind of up in the air, the Central. I believe they're separated by a game. Now, either one of these teams is going to make the playoffs because they've locked up the wild card spot. It's just which one is going to win the division and which one is going to have to play that wild card play-in game. So we'll see what happens there. I'm kind of rooting for Pittsburgh there just because they're a younger team. They have Andrew McCutchen. He's just one of my favorite players in baseball. He's just so exciting to see. He's one of the only players that you can really see take over a game. It's not that easy to do in baseball if you're not a pitcher, and he seems to do that a lot. So that'll be fun to see.
And they have the track record of not having gone to the playoffs in how long?
Pittsburgh went last year.
In 1 year.
They haven't been since last year. So, yeah. And then it looks like the other wild card spot's going to be San Francisco coming in behind LA. So, the playoff picture, it's not 100% crystal clear, but we know the teams that are going from the National League. And I'm pretty sure I can tell you the order. It's going to be Nationals number 1, Dodgers number 2. I'm going to go St. Louis number 3, and then Pittsburgh and San Francisco for the wild card. Probably played in Pittsburgh. So, yeah, there you go. There's more predictions. Not very much of a prediction because there's only 3 games left. So, yeah. If I'm right, I'm awesome. Right? That would be awesome. All right.
Right. But prior to last year, how long had it been since they've been to playoffs?
Like 20 years. Like 20 years. So, it had been a while.
So they still have some playoff time to make up for that 21
Yes.
years.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So, all right, let's move it over to the American League. And hey, who do you think we're going to talk about?
Is it the Orioles? Or the Orioles?
That is correct. So the Orioles.
Man.
The Orioles, now they are 3 games back for the number 1 seed behind the team that has the best record in all of baseball, the Los Angeles Angels. And it doesn't look like they're going to catch them because there's only 3 games left. So, number 2 seed's in the bag.
Had to ruin our dreams.
Darn you, Derek Jeter!
Higher seeded at the playoffs.
Why did I give you the Chewbacca Chainsaw Award? I will shake my fist in anger.
Our chances of a home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs.
Now, I think Baltimore is really good. It's been a really exciting team to watch. I think they're more than 30 home runs. They've hit more than 30 home runs more than the next team closest to them. So they've been exciting to watch and fun to watch. But, yeah, we'll see what happens there. And you have the Angels, who are just stellar from top to bottom. They have probably the MVP of the American League and Mike Trout there. So we'll see what happens there. But LA's going to get number 1 there. Baltimore number 2. Now number 3 is still kind of up in the air. It's looking like it's going to be Detroit. Detroit's about 2 games up on the Royals for the division lead. And again, there's only 3 games left. But I believe Detroit's playing someone decent, and the Royals are playing the White Sox for the next 3 games. So they got a shot. Not a very good shot, but a shot nonetheless. And then we'll see who makes it into the wild card. Now, the Royals are definitely in, and it looks like Oakland's pretty much definitely in. The door isn't closed quite yet because the Mariners are only 2 games back from both the Royals and the Oakland Athletics for that last wild card spot. But again, 3 games left. It's not looking so good. All they have to do is win 1 game, and either of those teams are in. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the playoff picture. I guess I'll give my wild card predictions. If I'm predicting it's going to be Pittsburgh and San Francisco, I think Pittsburgh will win the 1-game playoff against San Francisco. And in the wild card for the American League, Royals and Oakland, I'm hoping that the Royals win. I think Oakland will win, but I'm hoping that the Royals will win because I've rooted for them. They've been about 29 years without making it to the playoffs. So making it past the first round might be cool for them.
29 years.
Yes, 29 years. It's been a long time. 1985, the last time they made the playoffs. So that is my predictions. What are your predictions? What do you think is going to happen? Who do you think is going to win the divisions that are still up in the air, or who's going to lock down that last playoff spot in the AL? Do you think the Mariners even have a shot? Let us know. And you know what? I'll take some first-round predictions. Hit us up. Who's going to win these wild card games? Let us know. Comments down below. Of course, at Where's My Face on Twitter, wordsformyface@gmail.com. Of course, Google Plus and Facebook, always good ways of getting a hold of us. But let's move it on to the topics that was going to take up the entire rest of the evening for us, and that is football, and more football, and even more football. And we'll start it off with the worst thing that happened. Just because I want to, it's like pulling off a Band-Aid. I just want to pull it off, get it out of the way, and then move on to happier things. And that is the Redskins. They got smashed last night. Now, if you were watching Thursday Night Football, that is because we weren't on, of course. You're like, hey, Where's My Face isn't on. I might as well watch the game. And we should have been on last night, just so we didn't have to watch the game. Because that was an embarrassment. The Redskins, everybody was pretty much high on Kirk Cousins, thinking he was pretty much, hey, he fits the system. He makes better reads than RG3. He can do it. He throws the ball awesome. And he goes ahead and throws 3 interceptions in the third quarter, 4 overall for the game.
Would have been 5, but they called back one of them because of holding.
So, yeah, that's kind of just a technicality. You're right. So, I mean, it was a debacle. Our defense, it looked like there was no safeties at all on the field the entire time because anytime Eli Manning wanted to throw the ball down the middle of the field, somebody was always open. So, what happened there? Now, I will say the cornerbacks for the Redskins, they're 2 young guys, so give them a little break there. But the safeties are supposed to be veterans. There's really no excuse for just opening up.
We did have, to be fair, the Redskins did have a lot of injuries from the Eagles game on Sunday, and it was a short week. But I mean, the Giants are playing with the same short week.
And the Giants aren't very good either. I mean, the Giants aren't very good either. They made us look like the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. So that is pretty sad. And
speaking of Jacksonville,
coach, it is a new system going in there. The defense is pretty much pretty close to the same. They still do have the same defensive coordinator, but it just you'd expect to see a little bit of improvement, not digression. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Regression.
But speaking of Jacksonville, I think that was one of the deceptive things with Cousins, and I think I don't remember if we mentioned it on the show or not, or we definitely mentioned it elsewhere, that when we saw Cousins win against Jacksonville and put up all the numbers, the thing that I was worried about is, hey, that looked great, but maybe it was just because we're against Jacksonville. We have to wait a few weeks to see how things really go, and we've seen since then it really was, Jacksonville.
Well, he put up great numbers against the Eagles. He put up 427 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Eagles, so that's a better defense. I mean, he has the talent. He's just, you got to look at him. Yes,
that's 2 games.
Yeah,
one of which
was third
was
year
against
in the league, and he's only had 7 starts, so it's kind of like he's still a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We have to wait and see. And I'm saying, like, we're all seeing now that we needed to wait and see from that game because, and again, if you look back, Jacksonville I think has the worst defense in the league right now, right? Something like that. And so he
probably given up
against
like
the worst
150
defense
points so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're giving up like an average of 40 points per game. So pretty bad.
He did really well against the Eagles, but we didn't win. But okay, he did really well against the Eagles, so that's one game legitimately. Okay, did really well, and then this showed like he could flop. But you can still say too, one, we didn't give enough time to see how consistent he was going to be. We still don't know. We'll have to see. He has several more games before RG3 is healthy enough to possibly take the spot. I guess we're just.
I think it's almost a guaranteed right now he's going to take the spot. I mean, you cannot have that type of game as an NFL quarterback. I'm sorry, it's not allowed.
You can if the next 5 games are amazing.
Even if the next 5 games are amazing, if he had done mediocre last night and done mediocre the rest of the season, we probably would have a quarterback controversy here in DC. I think last night he'd have to have really amazing games, and they'd have to win those games. Having another game like he had in Philadelphia is not going to secure him the position because they did not win. They have to win these games. And I know there's a whole team there. The defense did horrible. I'm not trying to take all the credit away from Eli Manning. He is a good quarterback. Yes, he's inconsistent, but he has 2 Super Bowls for a reason. He can make the plays. That offense is a decent offense. The defense, I think they've been a little bit underrated this year, and I hate to say that too much because it's not quite the defense of 4 years ago where they had all these great pass rushers, but they still do have a couple of them. Kiwanuka's still there, they can. Jason Pierre-Paul. I mean, they can still get to the quarterback. It's just, I think the Redskins gave away the game more than the Giants won the game.
Well, definitely. I guess if we're going to beat up on Cousins a little bit more, like you saw some of those passes. I remember one pass that the defender, one of the interceptions, the defender genuinely looked surprised that the ball was in his hand. The ball did not. It wasn't. He made a great play for the ball. It's he turned around and the ball went to him.
He's like, oh, you're passing me. Sweet. But yeah, all right, we're done talking Redskins. I'm sorry. I love my team, but they embarrassed us. So
we're not done. We're not done.
We're done talking Redskins right now. So hit us up. Let us know what you think.
We have to.
I'm moving it. I'm the host. I'm forcibly moving us past this. All right,
All right. Cousins passed more receptions to the defense than to any of the receivers other than Halou.
Okay, and that's the running back, so that's pretty bad. All right, so let us know what you think about how horrible the Redskins have been playing. Is this a fluke, or is this kind of what we're going to see this year? Let us know. Comments down below, of course, at What's My Face on Twitter, what'smyface@gmail.com, and Google Plus and Facebook. If you don't want to comment too much on that, I understand. It's cool. But let's move it on to a little bit of sad news. Unfortunately, Rob Baronis, the kicker from the Tennessee Titans, he had been there for, I believe, about 15 years. Wasn't playing this year, but he passed away in a car crash over the last week. So, sad news. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. And, there's been some stories flying around out there that, maybe he got one too many concussions as a kicker. So, Hopefully that's not the case, and this was just a tragic accident, but we'll see what happens.
Well, either way, it's a tragic accident.
Yeah,
so.
tragic. Yeah, that's true. Tragic accident, no matter what. So, R.I.P. Mr. Baronis. And let's keep it rolling and talk about the Steelers. They made kind of a surprise move, especially in this atmosphere we have right now, with all the domestic abuse and violence and child abuse and violence and how that's been such a crazy thing. Yeah, the Steelers went out and picked up James Harrison. Now, James Harrison was a player for them, I believe, from 2002 to 2012, so about 10 years. He was there for a long time. He did get wrapped up in his own domestic violence scandal back in 2008, so I guess that's 6 years ago. The guy can change from then, so that's neither here nor there. But this guy was a great player for them. He was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. I think that was 2008 as well. They won 2 Super Bowls with him on that squad, and he was kind of the leader on those defense. But they've been suffering a lot of injuries there in Steeler Town. Yeah, I'm going to call it Steeler Town, Pittsburgh. With their linebackers, if you know anything about the Steelers' defense, they live and die by the linebackers. Their defensive line is never. They're just kind of workman guys. They just are there to plug up bodies, plug up holes, and let the linebackers do all the work. And they've been dropping like flies recently, so they had to do something. They had to get somebody in there that would be able to play and probably play soon. So they went out and got James Harrison. Now, he has lost about 5 steps since he used to, be the defensive genius that he was. Not genius now, that's not the right word. Defensive missile, because he used to launch himself like a missile at people. He also got fined like $200,000 one season for improper hits. So that was an interesting one. He was like the poster child for how not to hit somebody in the NFL for a long time.
Yeah, 200,000. That's like we sometimes talk about these $1,000, $10,000 ones being nothing, but 200,000. That's getting to hurt someone.
Yeah, that was over the course of a year, so that was pretty bad. But it sounds like he's not going to be necessarily a starter there, but they like to cycle those linebackers in and out every now and then, so he will get a lot of playing time there. It's interesting to see what's going to happen with that Steelers defense, because like I said, they live and die by the linebackers. Yeah, you have players like Troy Polamalu, who's always been really solid in the backfield, but that guy's lost a couple steps too, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And one little side note about the Steelers, like there was this cow that was born with like a big 7, it was a Jersey cow, so it was white 7 and black the rest of the face, and they're calling it the Ben Roethlisberger cow. I don't know.
What?
Look it up.
Because of a 7?
Yeah, because he wears number 7.
Okay.
It's a funny picture. Look it up. Google.
Lots of people wear number 7. Come on now.
Yeah, but they call it it's the Ben Roethlisberger cow or something like that. So I thought it was kind of funny. Google a picture. It looks a lot cooler than I'm describing it, but yeah, it was interesting. So let's talk about another topic. Yeah, I need to segue better than that, but we'll talk about Bill Simmons. Now, this is an ESPN analyst. He also does a podcast for ESPN, which is a pretty darn big podcast. I believe he's got something like 3 million listeners that download his podcast almost daily. So that's a pretty big audience there. And he was recently suspended for 3 weeks for going on a tirade in which he called Roger Goodell a liar like a million times. And now he didn't only call him a liar, but he threw as many curse words as you can in there, saying F and F and liar, 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 F, 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 liar, 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 F bomb, F bomb, F bomb. All right, that's not really the exact things he said, but I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah. We get the gist.
Yeah. So I just kind of found this funny because it looks like he got suspended for longer than Ray Rice initially did. Because Ray Rice only got 2 weeks at first, and then this guy's getting 3 weeks.
Granted, this is later. This is later.
Yeah, this is later. And then what's funny is a story kind of broke yesterday or the day before, which was saying that the NFL head of security was the one who was confirmed received that extra tape that came out just a month ago of Ray Rice in the elevator. So it's sounding like Mr. Simmons wasn't lying about Goodell being a liar.
Hold on. The security guy saw it. Goodell always said that he did not see it.
Yeah.
Someone else watched it.
Yeah, when you're head of security
officer too, I think that security administrator also, I think, has denied seeing it, but then has been told that That story keeps being convoluted. He says, she says, but
no, it's not a he says, she says. It's just they tried to hide the facts, and then the facts slowly have leaked.
no. They all received it. They didn't necessarily watch it. Like I think I said before. Really, maybe they just didn't watch it. Maybe they didn't want to know what was on the tape, so they could have deniability.
But let's think about this. Let's think about this though. When you are running a multi-billion-dollar enterprise like Roger Goodell is with the NFL, and you have a head of security, what is that head of security's job to do? To bring you everything important so that you know what's going on. That is, so you
give you deniability so that you can claim you don't know what's going on.
I just don't believe that. I don't believe that. And if that is what's going on, there is something really wrong in the NFL. Something extremely wrong in the NFL if that's what's going on. Because the head of security, your job is to make sure that Roger Goodell knows what's going on. And make sure your building is secure, I guess. Security, but you got to apprise him. Like, think about all the gangster movies where like it's a gangster who's like the CEO of a company or something like that. The head of security is always like the enforcer, the guy, the right hand man that goes kills all the bad guys. Now I'm not saying this guy's the head of security for the NFL kills bad guys or kills other guys because mobsters are bad guys too. But but I'm just saying, like, he reports directly to Goodell. He lets Goodell know exactly what's going on. So there is something going on, and it's
telling
kind
you
of
that
funny.
that's not always how these kind of structures work.
And it's kind of funny though that Bill Simmons gets suspended for something that might be true. And ESPN even did a bunch of stories about how the Ravens and the NFL might have tried to cover some of this evidence up, and Goodell came out and said, no, that's not true. And so it's your own company did an expose on how they might have tried to cover it up, and yet you're still getting suspended for calling him a liar. I think it might be more the way he called him a liar with all the profanity and everything, but still. And the other funny note that goes along with this is that it actually might, there's something going wrong there, because it sounds like they're going to get a current Attorney General, Eric Holder, after he retires, because they're looking for his predecessor or successor.
Well, hold on a second. Is that why he's actually retiring?
It's rumors. It's a lot of rumors. But Eric Holder is resigning. If you didn't know that, he is resigning as Attorney General. They're looking for his successor, and the rumors are out there that the NFL might approach him to become and be their head investigator or czar of discipline, and that's pretty interesting. Now, Eric Holder did do some work with them. I want to say it was back in 2007, 2008 for a big scandal that was going on, and so there is a precedent there of him working with the NFL. And if you were him, I mean, Goodell gets $44 million a year. If they bring in Eric Holder, he's probably going to get like $20 million a year. I think that's a good gig. Just saying. If you want to give me $20 million a year,
maybe that's why he's resigning. Maybe he got whiff of this and was like, oh, maybe it's time to bow out.
No, I think I think a little bit it has to do with all the crazy stuff that's been going on with him. And I mean, he was involved in the whole the gun running scandal a couple of years ago, where they're letting guns go across, what was that called, Fast and Furious. Yeah. He was involved in they've got him wrapped up in the Ferguson, Missouri stuff. Everywhere he's been involved in every bad thing, and as Attorney General he's supposed to be there, but he hasn't gotten the best press for it. So
I don't know, like, if that didn't stop him before, it's
I'm not stopping him now. Hey, and $20 million doesn't hurt. I mean, that's just my guess, but I bet you ballpark it, he's going to make about that much money. Because the NFL, say what you want about them, they pay their employees well.
Yeah, they do. That's why they make billions.
They make billions, and then they can pay. So let us know what you think about that whole everything with Bill Simmons, ESPN, Eric Holder. Let us know what you think about all that stuff. Hit us up, comments down below. Of course, at Words for My Face on Twitter, wordsformyface@gmail.com, and Google Plus and Facebook. All good ways to get a hold of us. And let's keep rolling down the NFL highway and talk about defensive back Morris Claiborne. Now, this gentleman on Tuesday suddenly left practice. He left the training facility. He was like, I'm out of here. And the stories that first came out were that he heard that Orlando Scandrick was coming back and he was going to get demoted from his starting cornerback position. And, okay, that's pretty bad, but that's not a reason for you to walk out. No way, no how. You're getting paid millions of dollars to stay on the field or not stay on the field, sit on the bench, but you're not allowed to throw a hissy fit. And then a few more details came out because Jerry Jones had done a radio show earlier that morning where he was asked about Morris Claiborne. Now, Morris Claiborne was their sixth overall pick in the 2012 draft, where Jerry Jones actually traded away a second-round pick to move up about 5 or 6 spots to draft this guy. And Claiborne honestly hasn't lived up to it. So that question was posed to Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones pretty much said, no, he hasn't lived up to expectations. That's the thing. He has not. He hasn't deserved us moving up and taking him 6 overall. And then he goes on to say, but we expect big things from him. So that's, neither here nor there. But when the owner/GM comes out and says, no, you haven't lived up to expectations, you've been playing pretty bad, you can take this one of two ways. You can shut down like Claiborne did and go away and cry, or you can try to prove him wrong. And so what happened is Claiborne showed back up on Wednesday, apologized to everybody, and said, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have stepped out, but I think this kind of shows kind of his character. When stuff hits the fan, he's going to run. And I got to say this, because I am a Redskins fan, yay! I like having a quarterback that gets, against us, that gets all pouty. So when Deshaun Jackson catches like a 60-yard pass against him, what's he going to do? He's just going to shut down and not cover Deshaun Jackson the rest of the game. So, hey, I'm totally cool with it.
As soon as we can pass it to Deshaun Jackson and not to Mo.
Wait, hold on. This just in. We have a live update. The Redskins suck. Boo, I don't like that live update. I know. Past couple weeks I'd done it, the Cowboys suck, but we suck more than them, so I gotta be fair. Damn it! Why do I have to be objective? Why can't I just be a super fan homer? I am a super fan homer. I take it back. But yeah, so let us know what you think about Mr. Jerry Jones and his comments on Claiborne. Should he just shut his mouth? Should that have ever come out of Jerry Jones's mouth? Or is this more Claiborne's fault for overreacting and kind of being a pouty little baby? If you ask me, it's both their faults equally, because I don't like either one of them. So hit us up at What's My Face on Twitter. What's My Face?
Just blame the whole Cowboys organization.
Blame the whole Cowboys organization. Of course, Google and Plus and Facebook, always good ways of getting a hold of us. All right. Lots and lots of NFL. I mean, it's a great day. It's a great day. So our last real NFL story is Teddy Bridgewater. He was drafted in the first round by the Minnesota Vikings last year. Really good talent out of... Now, I'm going to say it this way because a person from this city told me that this is how it's supposed to be said. Still doesn't sound right to me. But from Louisville. Doesn't sound like I have... Louisville. Doesn't sound like I have marbles in my mouth. Louisville. Not Louisville. Louisville. That's how... Somebody from Louisville told me that that's how you say it. It was Louisville. I was like, I don't think so. I just don't agree with you there. And then they go, I was born and raised there. You say it Louisville. I was like, what about? But there's an Louis and then Ville, and then they said to me, well, you say Maryland, and not Maryland, and so I said, okay, you win.
And now we don't say Maryland. We can
Maryland.
Like people
Maryland.
say
Maryland. All right, I got too much Louisville in me. All right, I'm sorry. All right, let us know what you think about it in the comments down below. Am I pronouncing this horribly wrong? Hey, do we have any people listening to us in Louisville? All right, yeah. So we're going to talk about Teddy Bridgewater. Really, really good young talent. Now, he did get hurt, pretty good injury last year, and people were kind of wondering if he was really ever going to amount to anything. So Matt Castle went down. He's been placed on the DL, so we're about to see. So check him out. I just like it. I like the kid. I always have. So I'm going to watch him. But that takes us to a new segment I'm going to call Games to Watch This Weekend. Oh, you just came up with a sound effect on the fly there. I don't know why thunder, but hey, I'll go with it.
It's what I had, okay? It's what I had.
Because now, to be fair, usually I do, especially with quick hits on our entertainment show, I do try to trip Brendan up every now and then. I did not tell him I was going to call it that, and I actually did not know I was going to call it anything until I just said it. So we're playing this show by ear. Let us know what you think. Let us know. But so these are some of the games that I think are going to be the best this weekend. Starting off with Green Bay and Chicago, two division rivals, one of the biggest rivalries in football. I'd say they rank right behind Redskins Cowboys as the biggest rivalry in football. And you have two awesome quarterbacks in Jay Cutler and Aaron Rodgers, two stacked wide receiving corps with you have Ashlon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall on one side, and then you have Jordy Nelson and Brandon Flowers and They have a whole bunch of other guys that always catch the ball. So that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And neither one of them have very good defenses. So I'm looking for like a 37-34 game.
Sounds about right. I mean, I would say maybe even higher.
Well, hey, we could only hope. Because if it's not your team, the higher the score goes, the more entertaining. That's all I got to say. And for fantasy football fans out there, which we will get to in a minute, that's an awesome game. So the next game...
Unless you have one of the defenses, but you probably don't, unless you're in a weird league.
Yeah, well. And then the next game to watch is the Eagles versus the 49ers. Now, this is just because I think the 49ers are going to do well. I do pick the 49ers for this game, but I think it's going to be entertaining. You have two previous college coaches. Now, the 49ers, I believe, are 1-2, and the Eagles are 3-0. I don't think the Eagles are a legit 3-0 because they beat the Redskins, the Jaguars, and somebody else. They beat the Colts. That's not bad. So that's one good win. But yeah, the Colts are 1-2 too. And I think the 49ers have kind of been slumping a little bit at the beginning of the season, and this is really where they're going to start turning on the Jets. So check that game out. And the last game I think people should check out is the Bills versus the Texans. And now it's not because either one of these teams is great. They're both 2-1. I don't think either one of them is a legit 2-1, but they're both 2-1 at this moment. But I like Sammy Watkins. I think that kid's going to do really well, and you never know what's going to happen. J.J. Watt is one of my favorite defensive players to watch, so I kind of picked it for one offensive player and one defensive player on opposite sides of the ball. Even though
it should be a pretty even game. So pretty good.
But nobody will have those fantasy players on their roster, because I know I won't. But speaking of fantasy, that brings us to the Words from My Face Fantasy Football League 2014 Extravaganza Recap. I just made that. Okay. So we're going to go over the scores of last week, and we're going to start with I'll start with the one on the top of my screen, and that is my team. I am Disgruntled Wookiees. I played Amingo 8 My Baby, and it was a squeaker. I got to tell you this. Now, he had Brandon Marshall and Jay Cutler going into the last game of the night, the Monday Night Football game. I was up 96-70 or something like that. Jay Cutler had a great night, and Brandon Marshall got hurt, so I won by 5 points, 96-91 right there. So, I'm happy with that. Then we had a horrible game. Redskin Potatoes played Team T, and now that was a barn burner at 66-62. Yeah. Let's look at the highest scoring player on both squads was Martellus Bennett, the tight end from Chicago. We had a quarterback score 3 points in that one. Ooh, yeah. Running back score 1. Yeah, not so fun. But Team T is 2-1, so he lost that one, and Redskin Potatoes got their first win. Yay, Redskin Potatoes! Yay! And then let's move it on to another very exciting game, and that was the WFMF Chainsaws. Yeah, it's me. He played Team Baker this week, so the Chainsaws moved up to 2-1. Baker fell to 1-2, which is pretty cool. I don't think anybody. Yeah, there's no team that's more than 2-1, and there's no team less than 1-2. So our league's actually pretty close right now. But you had a couple players playing you late that week too.
Yeah, that's true. But if you also notice, I had one player that was out.
Mm-hmm. He didn't even still won. Yeah, he had Arian Foster was pretty much a surprise inactive. Well, not surprise if you paid attention. They do release the inactive lists.
Yeah.
They release the inactive lists. Gosh, sometimes I just can't get the words out of my face. So maybe we should change the name of the show. Words that don't come out of my face properly. I don't know. Let us know what you think. But, yeah, you had Arian Foster. Now, if you are playing fantasy football, just so you know, about an hour and a half before the game starts, they have to release who's going to be playing, and that is when they release that Arian Foster was not going to be active for the game.
Yeah, he was questionable leading up to the game, and I thought about maybe switching him out, but he's a good player, and last year he was questionable like most of the year, to be honest, before the same issues. So I thought, he's probably going to be okay, but whatever. Apparently I made it without him. So.
Hey, you won 96-89. That's all that matters, right? And then we had Team Crawford playing Team Hugel, the two most unoriginal names because they just kept their last names. Come on, guys. Come on. Give us a good team name. I know you won't ever be able to beat Disgruntled Wookiees, but hey. Chainsaws is a close second. Close second.
Close first.
No. But yeah, so Team Crawford kind of ran away with that game, 85-67. And then we had the game of the week, Team Tavener versus Cowboys and Indians. And Team Tavener won by 1 point, 69-68. So not a very high-scoring affair there, but 1 point game where you had Cowboys and Indians actually. Oh, wow. Looks like Emmanuel Sanders led the charge there. Now, Team Tavener, with 14 points, but Team Tavener had Andrew Luck, who threw for 370 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Jaguars. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to overcome that. So, that is the week in review. Now, there is nobody in first, there's nobody in second, because there's a whole bunch of ties. Like I said, there's a bunch of us at 2-1. I'm 2-1. Brendan's 2-1, and we have a bunch of other people. So, all I know is that probably the people who are 2-1 are the ones who watched my tips video and drafted that way, because I gave you solid tips.
Yeah, and now, though, this week's going to be the real showdown. You saw the matchup.
That's right, it's me and you. And we'll give you a little preview of what's already gone on with that week. So I've already had 2 players play. I had Rashard Jennings, who got me 5 points, and yes, I had Kirk Cousins, who last week got me 27. This week got me a whole whopping 5 with 250 yards.
I'm honestly surprised he got you 5.
I am
kind of negatives would have put you.
You get minus 2 points per interception, so yeah.
I thought he would have gotten you closer to 0.
And now I had nobody else on the bench. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players on bye, so yeah, I didn't even follow my own drafting advice. I don't know what I was thinking. Actually, that's because I switched half of my team since then. But you had Garcon, who only got you 2 points, but you played him, in your second wide receiver, so. We have an interesting matchup. So I have
because Kirk Cousins will not throw to Garcon for some reason.
He wouldn't throw to anybody except for the Giants for some reason. So I mean, come on.
But Garcon's the number 1 receiver. He got the least receptions. He got less receptions than the running backs.
Well,
okay.
Well.
And the tight end.
Yeah.
Then some random guy. Okay.
And then some fan that they just pulled out of the stadiums. Gosh, man, I'm glad the show's over because I just can't talk tonight. But yeah, so that's our league. Check us out. I believe you can view it in the public. It's the Words From My Face League on ESPN Fantasy Football. If you were curious, check it out. But we will keep giving you updates. And to all the people playing, I will be the eventual champion. Thank you very much.
Unless it's me.
No, it will be.
But we will have some sort of award for whoever makes it. For me, I mean.
Yeah, I'll make myself a T-shirt and send it to myself.
It'll be an amazing T-shirt for me.
It'll look great. I'll wear it on the show.
Present it to me.
It'll be Words to My Face with our logo right there. You guys are gonna love it when I'm wearing that T-shirt. It'll look awesome. So, but as always, I am Brian. With me, as always, producer extraordinaire Brendan.
You.
And we are going to headbang our way out of this joint.
Are we?
I can keep the headphones up here.
All right.
For now, until I really start headbanging. If he hits play. Wow, I didn't even have my headphones on, and I love that song so much, and I know it so well that I could time it from when we went into the one part, and I took the headphones off so I could really headbang. Good night, everybody.